So, today we're going to be talking about cooking games, so more specifically, a cooking game series that I mostly really like, Cook Serve Delicious. The first game has come out in 2012, and there has been 4 games in total so far. There's going to be a 5th game pretty soon, though that one is more of a remake of the first one. And honestly, I have all of them. I have even streamed Cook Serve Delicious 3 in full on my channel a very long time ago. I know that for most people it isn't their cup of tea, but cooking game series in general, just like dress up games, is a fairly niche market, which means that the offerings that you're gonna get, they're not a lot. And when there's a whole series that managed to survive in that really niche environment, that bodes talking about. That means that it is something good enough for it to, having had sequels, which mostly doesn't happen with cooking games. I also have a collection of loose cooking games, aka small indie titles that have never received a follow up. I will probably also be making a video on those, but probably not really anytime soon. Mind you, I am at the end of my recording batch for like the month of May ish, and it's April right now. So when I come back, it might mean that me talking about other cooking games will be fairly soon from when I start recording again. So there is a possibility that for you folks, it will be like 1 or 2 videos later. For me, that would be a month later, and I'm also making no promises here. It's just a thing that I want to talk about, and I also want to showcase games that never received the sequel because, once again, this is not a big category of games. This is a fairly niche category of games, and if I found titles that are worth loving, or just even found titles that are not super great, but nobody else has even talked about them, I think that they're worth talking about. This is also a special shout out to Peony that decided to contribute to my dress shopping spree for my birthday, which was 2 wrap dresses, because currently I'm wearing one of those. So there we are. It's a linen dress, though one of the things is that it actually has a really deep cleavage, and you can't see it, but I have a pin right here, just so that you don't accidentally glimpse more than you have bargained for. But other than that, it's a very comfortable thing to be in. I think it's gonna serve my summers pretty well. Without further ado, let's get Cook Serve Delicious 1 playing. One thing that I'm gonna tell you is that I have played this game a lot, for like 40 hours, enough to like fully complete it once. I wanted to show you the start of the game, but I didn't want it to be boring for me, so I turned on New Game Plus, which makes the game extra hard. So if the gameplay looks really, really stressful and really impossibly hard, that's not the regular gameplay of Cook Serve Delicious. That's Mirta making it harder on herself in order to keep her interest in this game going. As this was the first game of the series, it came out in 2012. The developer of it, I have a wiki page open in here. So, the developer of it is Vertigo Gaming, and the director is David Galindo. I think that this is mostly like 1 or 2 people project. Like these projects, they tend to have dev teams that are incredibly small. So if you find like the main guy for them, majority of it will probably be made by the main guy. So for this game, compared to the future games, it's fairly primitive. There isn't like really much of a story. What you're doing is you're trying to work your way up to a better location for your restaurant to be in and for you to have more stars. And that's it. You have like requirements to rank up in stars. These requirements tend to be like have so many perfect days. Well, normally it's just like have so many perfect orders, have this amount of money tipped to you, pass a safety inspection, like serve for like this many days, like I don't know, 20 days normally, just so that there's quite a lot of playtime that you're actually playing in. The game comes with 30 types of food that you can serve. Normally, you can't like serve all of them at once. You have to buy your kitchen upgrades to unlock things like grill and soup kitchen, and normally some of the foods like unlock to become viable once you progress through your stars. So you tend to have like a small selection of food to begin with, and then as you play along through the game, you unlock more food to make and to serve to your clients. There is a practice mode for each food. Each food can also, I don't know if it's exactly all of them, but most foods definitely, they can be upgraded, which adds more options and more button presses to your food. This is an entirely fictional example, but like imagine serving a burger and then imagine that you can put a lot of other ingredients on that burger. Like maybe your original burger will only be able to be made with ketchup, but the upgraded version has like ketchup, mustard, and ranch sauce. Now, mind you, one of the bad things about upgrading your food is that it becomes more difficult on you. Like more people will pay you more money for it, but you're also complicating the cooking process for yourself because the food is now harder to prepare because there's more options and people can, order a food with more variety to it. One thing that I really, really loved about the first game that has really pulled me in when I first played it, despite its like simplicity of just the same kind of repetitive gameplay of just like preparing food and rather small amount of foods that you can serve. Like 30 sounds impressive, yeah? You should see how much food you can serve in the later games. Well, most of them. We're gonna get to that. So 30 is nothing in like the grand scheme of the world of cook serve delicious. 30 is actually pretty low as a number. This is like normal gameplay. Just your orders come in, you have to prepare them, you can't allow them to time out. If you allow them to time out, the person will be unhappy. If you prepare them wrong, the person will be unhappy. And during lunch and dinner, there's rush hours where like millions of orders come at the same time. You also have to take care of your kitchen by doing things like cleaning the toilets, taking out the trash, setting up rat traps, and similar like little duties, and you absolutely can't miss them because if you do, you won't be passing your inspection. So there's extra bad things that happen when you fail those. The game can be played through keyboard button presses, and preferably you're pressing down on your keyboard. I get flustered, so I end up playing a bit of a mix. Preferably, you learn how to play this game on the keyboard and you press the correct buttons on the keyboard because it is faster. Like, if you're not clicking on orders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but instead typing with the buttons, order 1, press 1, then like press arrow down, you can do this faster. But when I get flustered, I use a mouse, so I love the fact that there's the option to use the mouse. Doesn't apply to the full series. Once we're gonna talk about that later. we're in happy times right now. We're having happy memories with happy gameplay. So one of the things that really pulled me in, despite this being fairly simplistic, repetitive gameplay, where you're just required to pass a specific amount of days, pretty much, playing and serving in your restaurant before you rank up, because all of the other objectives should be easy enough for you to achieve them. Now, don't mind the fact that this looks really hard. That's once again because we're playing New Game Plus, which is the incredibly hard mode that the developer does not recommend that anyone do. It's just the fact that I can control my difficulty. There are foods that are very hard to prepare. Pizzas will have a lot of ingredients. Potatoes are kind of worse because first you cook the potato and then you put the ingredients, while the pizza, first you put the ingredients and then you cook the pizza. This means that if you have a lot of orders of pizzas, you can just put on all the ingredients and shove them in the oven and not care about it. And then when they're cooked, you will click on them and they will immediately go to the client. While, for example, if you're cooking a potato, first you're cooking the potato, and then when you click into it, that's when you're gonna be putting on the ingredients. So if you have like 5 potatoes going, you have a limited amount of time to get them out the door, because while you're putting ingredients on one potato, your other potatoes are threatening to burn. So it's a lot harder. But for example, if you can see, lobster is pretty simple. Even fully upgraded lobster, which I don't have here, all it gets is like more sauce options. So put in pot, put some sauce on afterwards. There isn't a lot to remember about lobster. Fish is practically always the same. Chicken is also practically always the same because you tend to like tenderize it and then either season or bread it. So there are options for your foods that are just really easy. So if you're having a bad day or if you just don't feel confident in this game, you can always just go to those extremely easy couple button press foods and get by. But at the same time, if you're getting bored or you want to challenge yourself, you can go for those much harder foods and learn how to do them well and like put extra pressure on yourself. It is nice that that exists, the same way that it is nice that I am able to do this through mouse clicks, even though that's not ideal. Just because depending on how I'm feeling and depending on how I'm doing in general and what I want out of my gameplay, it's nice to have that option to customize it. So while the first game is rather primitive, it's actually fairly great how much option you have to control that gameplay and to control that gameplay speed. I really enjoyed that from this game, and that's probably why I have 40 hours in it. That's probably why I liked it enough to follow the franchise and to buy the next upcoming games. That's probably why I stuck with the franchise for like over a decade. It's genuinely a very simplistic but good game as far as food making games go. On top of that, you're gonna be receiving quirky little emails while you play through the game, because you have like a inbox, and inbox serves a purpose. Like you can receive emails where you have a chance to spend money on experimental inventions, and sometimes that money is just gone because the experimental invention didn't work out, and other times that invention works out and you get an upgrade for your kitchen depending on what that invention was. So like you can get better toilets and shit like that that require less cleaning. I think that's pretty cool. But on top of that, you will receive a lot of emails that don't actually mean anything, but they're kind of there for humor's sake. Like people don't quite knowing how to send an email and sending you one anyway. Crazy advertisements. Just random thoughts that some people decided to send your way. That sort of thing really adds to this world building, and it elevates the game from what would have been a fairly simplistic game otherwise to something a little bit more. Come on, me. The day has been complete. Let's click off this screen. We know what we're doing, me. We can progress. Yes. Yeah, there we go. Wait, guys. See? This is the star restaurant checklist. This is what I mean when it comes to the game progression of like you have to complete 20 days of service that makes sure that you can't just like speed run the game too fast. You have to pass a safety inspection, get some perfect combos on 3 separate days, buy some amount of foods, make so many in tips. This is just like a stopper to make sure that you're not speedrunning the game too much. Cubicle life. Really getting good at making paper footballs. So far, my record is 4.5 feet. In your face, Shella. But I know with some better grade paper, I can really go the distance. I noticed that I can get around the work filter by applying some changes in my web browser. Don't want to give too much away. Tech guys are probably monitoring these emails. Making a small mouse cozy with my cook serve delicious food wrappers, and it's looking really nice. Makes my mouse smell a little like food, but that's okay. JJ on the 34th floor. This is what I mean when you get like really pretty random emails that don't really contribute to your gameplay experience, but just like contributes to the overall world setting and overall feel of the game. I really like that option. And as the first entry to this series, despite being simplistic, this is a very good game. It would get like A plus from me. Compared to later options, there are some upsides and some downsides to buying later games. And honestly, having three, I would be very unlikely to continue playing one. And I uninstalled one in favor of three, even though I reinstalled all of them to just go through my memories, play the game at least for an hour each to figure out how I feel about them again. So, this isn't the best, in my opinion, that Cook Serve Delicious the franchise has to offer, but as the first entry game into the series, this is pretty good. If you want to just play a bit of cooking and you want it to be kind of simplistic with no frills attached, very scoped game that knows exactly what it wants and what it's doing, go and get this one. It's, in my opinion, it's okay. In hindsight, now that I have other games to compare it to, I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Without those other games, I would have probably given it a 9 for just being a decent, small scope indie game about cooking. And like, when I'm gonna be doing my videos about like standalone indie cooking games, I'm not gonna be like rating them against full franchises. So if this didn't have a franchise and this was all that there was, I would be like, yeah, this is a decent small scope game, guys. You should go and check it out. So this is what I'm gonna tell you. It's a You saw what it was, you saw what it is, and it is decent in what it does. And that is enough of looking at Cook Serve Delicious 1 right now. We're gonna be progressing to Cook Serve Delicious 2. So, see you soon from the other video of me that I'm gonna be recording in just a second. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cook Serve Delicious 2 instead of 1 this time. Cook Serve Delicious 2 has released in 2017, whooping 5 years after the first release, because I guess the first release has proved to be popular enough for a second one to happen. I have not played this one as much, and it is because it is lacking something that the first game had. But first of all, let's start from the story. It has a very simplistic story of someone in your tower was like using your business in order to embezzle money, and there has been like this whole big shenanigans. Your whole property was seized, and now you will start a brand new cook serve delicious restaurant by working your way up and regaining your reputation by working in different restaurants in the tower until your own restaurant gets enough stars to really be popular and take off. The amount of foods got upgraded from 30 to, I believe it was something like 180. I am trying to fact check myself. Yeah, over 180, Wikipedia says. So I'm not spreading misinformation. The places where it is quite impressive is that now you have this space that you can decorate. I still don't have any decorations, but there's now like a more creative aspect. You feel like you have more control over the game. The whole point in working in other restaurants is to earn stars for your own restaurant, for yourself, but also to get those pretty vital decoration pieces so that you can place in your own restaurant. And the amount of customization that you eventually have for your restaurant is pretty impressive. So this is a pretty good new feature. They obviously upgraded the amount of foods that you have. You now have holding stations. Some foods can only be made in holding stations and have to be made in advance. Some foods, like for example hot dogs, instead of needing to cook them individually for each person that arrives, you can pre-cook them inside the holding station, and then when the person arrives, all you have to do is like put all of the extra touches on the hot dog by clicking into their order. You can like do the same thing with potatoes. So there's this new gameplay aspect, bigger, better, more of everything, right? So just like the first game, but more. Well, they have removed some things. Firstly, this plays more like an arcade level type of system. You can customize the items that you are using in your own restaurant and play through your own restaurant in a sort of like replay mode. But if you want more items for your restaurant, if you want to increase your ranking, if you want to collect these like gold passes of levels, effectively, if you want to progress the game, you need to play in other restaurants. And other restaurants come with preset menus. So I no longer can control my difficulty that way. I can no longer choose what I want to be cooking. I will just be presented with like a rigid menu from the game, and that's what I have to be cooking. And normally after a while, you get a choice of restaurants because more than one restaurant levels will be unlocked at the same time. So like if you really hate the burger joint, you don't need to be working at the burger joint. Like if you really hate what I'm doing here, which is Max Wieners, you don't need to work at Max Wieners. You can just work somewhere else, but that only extends so far. Like if you're completionist and if you want to finish all of these places, you will have to like do their levels. Plus, sometimes you will just have a whole bunch of levels unlocked that you don't quite want to do, so you'll just have to select from the lesser of evils. Effectively, the game forces you to play with foods that you might not want to play, and this is why this is my least played installment in the series, outside of the newest game I literally bought for this review. Um, it's not good, but we're gonna get there. It's very, very different. I don't know why they went in that direction, and I'm glad that the one coming after that one, will be a remake of the first one, because that means that direction will drop off for a while. Hopefully a long while. I mean, I can't complain. I can't complain. This is a series of cooking games, and series of cooking games are rare, so we should just be glad that they exist to begin with. So effectively, there is a bit of take and there is a give. There's a very impressive variety of foods. You can customize your own restaurant, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, you lose that ability to select what you're cooking. So Mirta can't just select, you know, easy foods when she just feels like making the easy foods. Which is why I played 40 hours in the first game and only 20 hours in the second game. When it came out in 2017, my biggest save file only has like 20 levels passed. And this is not like full kitchens passed. No. Just 20 levels in total passed. This means that I was kind of disappointed and put it down fairly fast, despite really liking the first one. Mainly because of that thing where you can't really customize what you're serving in kitchens that are not yours, and kind of having to play through those levels if you want to make progress for your own kitchen, which just wasn't a great selection. Emails. This game does still have emails, but when it came out, it did not. Emails, if I remember correctly, were at first not part of this game, but people really missed those old touches to the game and the story and the world, so emails were brought back. There are some interesting emails, I would say, like emails that start hinting that this is a post-apocalypse America, that whole 9 states have disappeared, that there's quite a lot of like wars happening, the kind of things that you don't like see in the game, but the game is now telling you about its like broader setup and the broader world, and it's something that is needed considering the next installment in this series. We're gonna get there soon enough. But a lot of the extra like quirky emails came on to me like being written in bad faith, because effectively it is a whole bunch of coworkers writing passive-aggressive emails to each other of like, you know, someone used up all the paper printing embarrassing children birthday photos. P.S. Don't ever steal my lunch ever again, Brian. Those sort of emails. They're no longer just fun. They're for some reason like fairly aggressive in the way that they're set up. The game now spams you with emails every single time after you pass a level. As you can see, I was unlocking some of my furnishings from my own restaurant. And because the game spams you with these emails, and a lot of them just feel like they're written in bad faith, they're no longer as fun as they used to be, and all the charm and wit is kind of gone, so it kind of feels like maybe they shouldn't have even brought them back. Where am I? Oh right, I am doing a bit in a different restaurant, so if I'm just gonna put the thing forward, they specialize in like salads. And I also think like chicken, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there we go. They also specialize in chicken, so there's like different recipes. I really cock up in this level at one point because I accidentally hit the chicken too many times and it turns into bleh. And one of the things in this game is that if you make a mistake, this is the same for the first game, for the second game, and for the third game. It's the same for the whole franchise. If you accidentally misclick, you can't select to throw that food away and start again. You're just losing your perfect order. It's not that bad in the first game to not have like a completely perfect combo and completely perfect day. Like the game doesn't really award you that much extra for being completely perfect, so there isn't that much pressure. But in the second and the third game, and even to an extent the fourth, which we're gonna talk about later because it's um to get the golden medal for the whole day has to be perfect. You can't miss a singular order, you can't misclick a singular order, and you can't do a singular order badly. And it just puts a lot of pressure on you because you really can't make any mistakes if you want that perfect gold medal. And this is especially something that you feel really heavily in the second game, where you do not control your menu. Like, you need a perfect day with a menu that you have no control over, which really puts the stakes high and makes you kind of unable to make mistakes, and it sucks because the level can go on for like 10 minutes. It's about 10 minutes a level, and if you make a mistake at the end, it's so devastating because you know that you're not getting a gold medal anymore, and you can't even like redo the order in favor of like losing some time, because as you can see, other orders are like ticking down while I'm doing these orders. So it's not like I'm already not penalized if I just chose to throw away what I'm currently doing. I am, because I have to catch all those other orders in time. It's just that it would have been nice to be able to go, oh, I made a mistake, let me chuck this food out and start again. But no, 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 no. If you make a mistake, you just have to serve it as it is. This game is very punishing. The third game kind of goes in between 1 and 2, I would say, where it is punishing and it's actually faster paced, but also it gives you some wiggle room, so you feel a lot less pressure than you do in this one, just because of the whole like preset foods thing and having to have perfect days and having no control over any of that. I would say that Cooked Served Delicious 2 is like one of the hardest of the. Considering how different the fourth game is, do I say classic ones for the first three? Can I do that in like a franchise that is only over a bit over a decade old? Can I say that out of the classic games, Cook Serve Delicious 2 is the hardest? Really, maybe? I feel like I should say it, so I'm gonna say it. Out of the classic games, it feels like Cook Serve Delicious 2 is the hardest on the account of you being unable to control the difficulty and having very, very strict requirements of not making any mistakes, and mistakes being as costly as they are because it immediately loses you your golden medal and just makes you swear your ass off for yourself. There's just so much pressure in this cooking game, yo. I feel like I should just push the footage a little bit forward in order to show you the emails that you get, and also to show you me properly like customizing my place a little bit. But there you go, there's me cocking up. And because I cocked up, I was like, fuck. And just had to like continue going with it. I wanted you guys to see what it looks like to actually cock up. There you go. Here is the example of the kind of emails that you get in Cook Serve Delicious too. Hey everyone, thanks for attending Leo's surprise party last night. As you know, Leo is an introvert, so he loved being surprised with dozens of people like that. The best part was when we made him give a speech. He loved it. And Leo, try not using my eraser in the future. Otherwise, I might throw you another party. Dennis M. There's quite a lot of like emails that are very aggressive in this game and honestly just sucked out all the fun from the email feature even existing. So even though they brought it back because fans were missing it, just the writing quality for what you get here makes you not be a feeling very happy vibes, makes you not a very happy bunny. So I don't really agree with it. I honestly think that not having these emails might have been a lot better. So I try like other places, like an ice cream restaurant, and there you go. Here's the decoration part. I don't have a lot right now because obviously I only did like 3 levels and you get stuff from as if it's a loot box. You get stuff just randomly dropped to you when you like complete the levels right and level up or something like that. But anyway, you want to do this in order to like get furnishings, in order to be able to customize your own place, and it's fun. It's a nice, cool little quirky feature, and you can actually like play in this when you run your own restaurant in just like free play mode. Then you can just see it in action, and that's pretty cool. If you ask me, like currently I have 2 floors, so floor 2 it is. I have a lot of windows though, because you set out with a lot of windows. So there's some nice, you can hang things on the walls, you can like put things like vases down. There's quite a lot of like furnishings like that that you can unlock, so you can make a pretty cute little quirky place. Whenever there is like a chance to customize things, I will customize things in general. I only had one wallpaper, so with that we went. So I always appreciate the ability, like you can also free place lamps in here, but then you can also just make sure that lamps appear over every table. Deleting shit sometimes is kind of hard because you have to go into like a specific menu. And then like edit delete, and then you have to select what you're trying to delete. And I just wanted to delete that one lamp, so it deleted fairly fine, but it's a bit clunky because it's not like you select delete and then like click on the item that you want to delete. But it works. There's like Halloween decorations and Christmas decorations, and I have like a singular vase that I can put down. I also unlocked quite a lot of pictures, if I remember correctly, because like wall decorations are kind of a big thing in this game. But you get the idea. It's just like click and place, and you can customize your restaurant however you want, and you're doing other things. I don't actually know how I would rate this game. I should actually focus on finishing my thoughts before progressing. So you can finish your levels with the preset menus to unlock decorations to place in your own place, which is kind of cool. But between the option to decorate your place or have free levels where I can choose what I'm making, I will choose having the free levels simply because it impacts my gameplay kinda heavily. So if I enjoy playing the game, more, then that is better than me enjoying playing the game less but having a place to decorate. That is the full sentence. If I had to rate this game, I would still, like the first one, be giving it a 7 out of 10 because it took so many steps forward and then it took a couple of steps backwards as well. So it does stand as its own thing. Like, it did impressive amount of improvements. Decoration of place, 180 food types, a lot of different levels, some extra world building about how you're living in post-apocalypse. Good. It is good. It's like the first game but bigger. It just that it also took some steps back, namely in how you have to play the game in its entirety. I wouldn't recommend it more or less than the first game. I would say that I would recommend them about the same simply because what you want out of your cooking game will entirely depend on what kind of person you are. So maybe you want that extra challenge of having to cook with preset menus. Maybe you want that ultra perfectionist take to the game that you have here. Maybe you want that increased difficulty. And in that case, this game will be in all ways a step up over the first one, gameplay wise. But I enjoy that balance. I enjoy being able to set my own difficulties in game. I enjoy being the one in control of that to figure out how much I can surpass and whether or not I want to surpass it. As such, this is a different game. And honestly, I want to invest more time into it just because I feel like I really under progressed and I could still do better. But I don't think that me as a person, I could actually 100% or perfect this game simply because it doesn't give me the tools that I would need to perform well. It expects me to learn all 180 recipes and to get through some days where only like the hardest possible recipes are selected, and I'm not super good at it. So the franchise at this point, like, it had some give, it had some take. It kind of it balances out depending on what kind of person you are. You have will have different ways of looking at this, and therefore what you expect from your cooking game will be different. This this one has a fully deserved place on the pedestal of the franchise. It's just different. It would have been nicer if it was closer to the first one while keeping all of the upgrades. But that's not this one. That is the next one. So, off we go to Cook Serve Delicious 3. Welcome to Cook Serve Delicious 3, my favorite one in the series. I had 2 saves on this one. I completed it fully on stream in 2022. Mirta, that has started streaming this game, didn't look quite as refined as Mirta that finished streaming this game. Let's just say it like this. This game is a step up visual wise and soundtrack wise and story wise in all possible ways. It is a bit of a step down in a couple of functions. Like, you no longer have chores, but you're exchanging the having of chores for a gameplay that focuses on vans. You exchange being able to customize your restaurant to being able to customize your van. So you earn coins and you can like unlock decorations with money, and then like you can place it right here on like the tabletops. I needed to be placing it a bit further down. If you can place a decoration, it like lights up blue. so that you're not confused. You unlock the decorations by going through like the full game or for doing specific feats, but then you also need to like purchase it with money. I'm currently placing a tiny like TV on the side here. So while I can't change the wallpaper or the quote-unquote floor or the window type for, well, my food van, I can still decorate just like I could in the second one. Once again, Cook Serve Delicious 3 is very much in between 1 and 2, as far as like a lot of functionality goes. I don't know if I mentioned it, but this game came out in 2020, so about 5 years ago. It first released into early access in January of 2020, and then it was finished by October of 2020. So the early access didn't last for very long. I will play the intro cinematic for all of you, like how this game starts, just so that you have an idea of the story and what is happening. It's fully voice acted. It has an engaging story. It's a big step up in comparison to the previous two games that barely had any story whatsoever.
The year is 2041, and the United States is reeling from war. But that hasn't stopped business from booming. Welcome to Tasteville recently opened its 1,000th restaurant. Chili Bowl bought a small island in the Pacific. And Max Wieners continues to be in and out of various ventures. And as for Cook Serve Delicious, well, it continues to be regarded as the finest restaurant in the world. Until it was destroyed 20 minutes ago. Easy on the brakes, Whisk.
Sorry, Cleaver. This old hunk of junk needs some love and care.
Jeez, look at this place.
Do you think anyone made it?
Only one way to find out.
Hey, Cleaver! I think I found a survivor! Give me a hand!
On my way! All right. 1, 2, 3, lift!
Holy crepe, is that the chef from Cook Serve Delicious? I'm such a big fan.
Chef, I've got some good news and some bad news. Your vitals look fine, just some minor scrapes and brain hemorrhaging, but your restaurant is... it's gone. I'm sorry.
Cleaver, a word with you, in private.
What?
What if we give Chef our truck and offer to help? You could be a guardian, and I could be the driver.
Well, it would be nice to work with living people for a change.
All right then, it's settled.
Okay, well, I didn't like
Hey,
agree
Chef! We have an idea.
So the full storyline is a bit basic, but like you get a lot of information about characters and different stops, but effectively you get pulled into this food van by two robots. It is once again post-apocalyptic America that's fighting pretty
Good to see you, Chef.
badly between itself. And eventually they notice like a competition. I think it was like Iron Chef or something like that. And you start on this huge journey throughout all of this post-apocalyptic fantasy American states to reach the competition and to win, because if you win, you're gonna have enough money to re-establish your restaurant that you have lost. So this whole game is about rebuilding what you have. I am gonna move my screen a little bit, just so that you can see. Do you see that like large list over there? That would be my possible stations for taking orders. This is how much orders I can get at once. This is not what you start with. This is a fairly upgraded truck. I jumped into an already in progress save file, but it's about 1/3 through the full game. So you can have a lot more upgrades than I do, and you can get a lot further than I do. The holding stations from the second game are still here. They're still a function, and they still function mainly the same way. Except that now you get a specific number of people that you will need to serve at every single stop. You have like this little mileage that shows you how far away you are from the next stop. And the orders that you get on that side are the special cooked orders that are more complex food than holding station food. There's only one type of person that's allowed to order when your food truck has already stopped. I believe they're called the VIP guests, and when VIP guests start appearing, then you can have like all of this pre-prepared in that small amount of window of time that you have in between stops, but then a VIP guest will come in and they will demand food and you will have to serve them right now. The orders can also now tick down twice. So the first time when they tick down, they will go into yellow, and the second time when they tick down, they will go into red. And if the order then ticks down again, that's when you lose the order. It might feel like it is easier, but if you run out of holding station food, which if you have holding station food that's served in smaller portions, all of the people that you haven't served that want that holding station food will immediately tick down into the next category. So like they will go from being normal immediately to yellow, and then from being like yellow immediately to red. So if it was a one and done sort of thing, like tick down and you lose it, like it is in other games, this game would have been too hard. You can also now serve all with the control button, which I absolutely love. It just means that if you already have food prepared and it's just sitting there, you can serve all of these with a control. You don't need to go clicking. That's another thing that I haven't mentioned. If you're using your mouse to serve ingredients or to complete prepared orders, in Cook Serve Delicious 2 and 3, you can click on the mouse and drag it down. So if you need to get all of the ingredients onto a specific like item, you can just click your mouse and drag it down through all of the ingredients. In Cook Serve Delicious 1, you would need to individually click on every single ingredient that you're adding because that click and drag thing is just not a thing. So the same way in 2, you can just like, if you have a lot of things to serve, you can click your mouse and just drag to all the things that you need to serve and they will serve. While Cook Serve Delicious 3 just made it simpler and allowed you to use control. This is a regular setup for a level. I went into a later level just so that I can show you. It demands that I take a specific amount of foods in points. So easier foods score less points, harder foods score more points. I'm not free to use the full menu, like every food that I have, but I'm just like shown the amount of points that I need to meet for this level to be valid. Therefore, I want to again have some control over my difficulty by being able to select whatever I want as my foods. It's like a limited selection. I can only select from so many things and I have to meet a point amount, but this control is enough in order to make me feel a lot more comfortable in playing the game in general, which was something that was very, very missing from the second one. This is why this one is my favorite one. Together with Cleaver and Whisk are just such cool characters. The music in this is fantastic. There is a whole playlist. It's by Jonathan Grayer, I believe the music is, of Cook Serve Delicious 3 full original soundtrack on YouTube. I think it was made to be free for everybody to use, just because that was what the person demanded that made the soundtrack. I will now just switch off the music for the game that I'm currently showing you, and I'm just gonna launch. Let's launch like halfway through the song. Well, the soundtrack, Iron Cook Speedway 1. I enjoy it very much. Let me go back to a song that practically everyone knows because it's on the main menu, and it is one that people really love, called It's Dangerous to Go Alone. It's funny because this one also has lyrics. It just comes a little bit later. It makes you not want to get off the main menu. Normally plays when you're selecting food.
Just ain't the same anymore in this town.
Anyway, I'm gonna leave the full soundtrack in the description down below. Let's actually turn on the proper sound of the game that's currently, being shown. This is the proper sound, but it's like the full soundtrack extracted. It's available on YouTube. I think Jonathan Greer had an agreement where, because this is an indie dev, he charged him less, but the soundtrack had to be made royalty-free and like publicly available 3 months after the game came out. So we have excellent 1 hour and 41 minutes of music made for this game, and it's just so good. Once again, visuals, high upgrade. Sound, high upgrade. Story, high upgrade. Now, you exchange chores for something else in here, which is food truck attacks. It is something that I want to show you. Depending on the level, the food truck attacks and what they do are different, and it will actually kind of cause a bit of a panic because you don't actually know when it's gonna happen. But it's kind of this unexpected element that switches your vibe. It can delete the orders that you have already prepared, for example. It can change the orders that you need to prepare. It can close some of your sections and some of your windows. It can make you unable to see how many orders is ordered for the next stop. So there's like a huge variety of these like attacks that can be subjected to you, and the higher levels get pretty insane. Like difficulty wise, this game probably becomes harder than 2 at the end, because it still carries that thing where you need to be perfect in order to get the gold star, and if you're not perfect, you're not getting the gold star. But also, it still allows you to control your menu to a point, and harder levels demand that you select quite a lot of high scoring foods. So it still puts pressure on you, but it also has these very unpredictable elements, like, well, food truck attacks that throw off what you're doing. But you know what? I still love this game. Like, this is one of the most stressful ones of the 3 classic Cook Serve Delicious titles. But I love it because it's good. It finally managed to find that happy medium between 1 and 2, added a story on top,
That was perfect.
added a lot more soundtrack, and also it's pretty long. I spent like 100 hours into this game. I only completed it once, so there you go. That's a food truck attack. It closed one of my holding stations. It wasn't one where I had anything prepared yet, so that was lucky. It's RNG what it closes, so I have replayed this level later because I didn't do it perfectly here, so it closed a completely different station that I actually was using, so that was a bit... that made it a bit harder, but to play through this game 1 1/3 of a time, effectively, because that's what I have on my account, it's 100 hours. So, to play it once... maybe, what, 70? Like, it's a fairly long game. It has a lot of cooking in it. But if you want a high-pressure cooker where you still get control over what you're serving and what you're making, that has a lot of variety of foods that you can make, because foods from Cook Serve Delicious 2 transfer over, get this one. This one gets my vote. Like, if I had to rate this game for cooking games, 9 out of 10. It loses a point for being a very high pressure experience. But otherwise, it's very good, yo, as far as cooking games go. It's like the other 2 games were leading up to this one, and this is peak quality. This is the best quality in a Cook Serve Delicious title that you're gonna get. It gets my vote between all the other Cook Serve Delicious titles. I don't know how much clearer I can make this. It's just a really good game, and if you're gonna get any one of those out of this whole series, I would say get this one, because it sort of combines the first 2 and adds like their own twists. And yeah, that's what there is to it, and there's like a lot of levels for you to do. A lot of... this is a very... once again, it's a very long game. You will definitely get your money's worth out of this one. That's where I'm gonna end my review for this one right now, because it's time for us to go to... let's say the franchises... this is gonna be so mean, but you know how sometimes you have a whole bunch of children and one of them is just not quite all right? Oh, we're gonna be going to the franchise's disabled cousin now, which is Cook Serve Forever. I don't actually know how a game like that managed to release out of a franchise like this. I tried to enjoy it for what it is, but even what it is just it's also the most expensive one, and it is still in early access, and it has been there since what, 2023? It's just so let's jump from the highest point of the franchise straight to the lowest one. Hello, welcome to Cook Serve Forever, the title that is still ongoing right now. It hasn't finished early access. Good news is that soon it will. And then the developer is already working on Cook Serve Delicious Remastered, where he just goes back and recodes the first game, adds like a couple of nicer things from the other games, adds all of the soundtrack into it, all of the good shit, just like elevates the first game that's there, which is great. It is what we want to see. So first of all, Cook Serve Forever isn't even PC friendly.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Helianthus, please put your hands together for your culinary queen, Chef Rhubarb.
Hello, Helian.
I'm gonna be talking over this. Visuals are delightful. Music is still pretty good. The story follows a girl that wants to become a star chef from like when she's a little girl. But this is mostly like a visual novel. And one of the things that was very consistent between the first three games is the cooking mechanics. If you can do cooking mechanics of 1, then 2 and 3 will have the same cooking mechanics. Some of the recipes will just even be like copy pasta with no changes to them. So if you get good at one, you can then get like good at the other ones as well. Oh shit, well my mouse is in the recording. Not my current mouse, but my recording mouse.
I've got a surprise for you.
They have completely changed the cooking in here, and it is so not PC friendly. You can't use your mouse at all. The game highly urges you to connect the controller now. I didn't, because I don't have one. I don't play with controllers. Controller-only games on PC are a travesty, and I am highly against that being a thing. That is not the normal PC control scheme. If you're giving me a PC game, make sure that it works for keyboard and mouse, goddammit. The tutorial does teach you the mechanics. The mechanics in the tutorial are written out for a fucking gamepad. It's a PC game, for Christ's sake. From a series that was previously entirely keyboard and mouse friendly.
Okay, your very first
The
reading
fuck?
done. Are you ready? Yeah, great. Let's start with
This is how cooking goes. They want you to do two unrelated tasks with your hands at the same time. If you're really fast at this, then the game will eventually reward you with stickers. The idea is to get the stickers for like a sub-level block here. The wiggle time that you get is practically non-existent. After I stopped bothering with this game, I went to the forums and I learned that in the options, somewhere in there is a setting that is an accessibility setting that allows you to effectively switch on disabled controls, which allow you to get more time for shit like this. But this is what you get start to finish. The recipe doesn't matter. What level you're doing doesn't matter. There's no rhythm. Like, I heard that this is a rhythm game. Like, no, it's not. There is no rhythm to this. You're just focused on trying to do two things at once. Let me just let me push forward a bit. This is what the gameplay always is. And unlike Cleaver and Whisk, the main characters in this one actually did start getting on my nerves. Thankfully, if you're replaying levels, there is a choice to skip level dialogue, because despite the fact that the music is beautiful for this one, because the level dialogue doesn't just go at the start of the level, it goes to like the midpoint of the level, or sometimes like even all the way through, because this is written like a visual novel. It is so distracting to have two people be trying to talk story to you while you're trying to figure out what the shit kind of buttons to tap on two hands at the same time. It literally works against you. I went into this one knowing that it isn't the same as Cook Serve Delicious 1, 2, and 3. I have been told that this one was like closer to a rhythm game. I don't see it. It is a visual novel where to see the story you tap some buttons, would be how I describe. All the creative functions from the previous games are gone. Your ability to select what you're serving is gone. You're here just purely for the story. I will probably be playing through this one because I am curious about the story. It has nice visuals. It has nice music, but the kind of standards that the previous games have set, you know how low my ranking for this one would be? 4 out of 10. It frustrated me. It was very primitive. It wasn't set up for keyboard and mouse on a PC, of all things. It's the most expensive one. This isn't what I paid for it. Thank God. Thank God that there's other sites outside of Steam. But on Steam, it's £24 for this. For the most limited of all Cook Serve Deliciouses. I will go further directly into the Tranquilitas, which is a level. Just because I want to show you the NPC chatter. Meanwhile, I'm also at the same time gonna multitask on Steam, and I'm gonna click into Cook Serve Delicious bundle, and I'm gonna see how much each game costs.
Good morning, Nori. It's so wonderful to have you in our sleepy little corner of the city.
From what I can see, £6.99. Mind you, my eyeballs are broken.
We're very excited
For Cook Serve Delicious 1.
community.
£9.99 for Cook Serve Delicious 2.
Wait, why?
£15.45. What a odd price point for Cook Serve Delicious 3, but in my opinion it's worth it. $24.99 for this visual novel with some buttons to click.
Delivery order?
The sad bit is that even if I took this game,
Going to try anything from the garden?
this is the chatter.
I gave my word.
Well, right. You did.
Tranquilitas. Tranquilitas. Tranquilitas.
Brie, I'm serious. Don't eat anything.
Fine, I won't eat anything. Yet.
Bye.
They interject multiple times throughout this level, because this level is all about how you're serving food inside like a mental health facility, and your girlfriend or your roommate, one or the other, I'm pretty sure your girlfriend, it's like a tranked tomato. This whole story takes place inside the level while you're playing it. Like, seriously, I had to take my headphones off in order to be able to focus. Don't do that shit. That is... You're already trying to pay attention to what you're doing. You definitely don't need somebody talking in your... It's It goes against good game design. That's what it is. If I was ranking this game separately, if I took it out of Cook Serve Delicious video and placed it together with other indie game titles that focus on cooking, it still wouldn't rank high. And the other indie game titles that focus on cooking, like for example, Good Pizza, Great Pizza will be one that we're gonna be talking about.
Oh, all this food looks so good. Oh, look at that tomato.
That's not the one that I wanted to talk about. That one is 8 pounds, but has gacha mechanics effectively. But
Oh, wow.
I have quite a few cooking games that are like less than 5 pounds. I have quite a few dramatic cooking games that are like 15 pounds.
Dr. Juniper said everything in the garden is laced with
This is
What? This is a mental health.
this is a visual novel
garden to treat the residents
that has really shit controls for its gameplay sections. That goes for 25 pounds. That's how I would rank it. Even if I was just taking it out and I want to see what it was that I actually wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, Pizza Express. There we go. Pizza Express is normally 5 pounds, is currently on sale for 60p. That is an indie game about making pizzas. It has a lot better controls than this one does. It's 1/5 its price. The soundtrack in here is great. It is fantastic. The visual novel is probably well written. It is why I actually want to go in, switch on the disabled controls, which will just give me a lot more time, and just go through it in order to see the story when it fully releases for myself, alone, away from this channel. But mechanic-wise, it doesn't rank high. Control-wise, it's an absolute travesty. This isn't even like a proper cooking game. It's really random and really horrible to be playing it on keyboard. Mouse support is no longer existent. The gameplay aspects of this visual novel are just not good. That's what it is. Even if I was ranking it against other indie cooking games alone, taking it out of the franchise that it's within right now, I wouldn't be ranking it well, because this is all that there is. And I can get better cooking experience in cheaper games. Sure, this is pretty. The soundtrack be jamming. But gameplay-wise, it's shit.
Brie?
And look at them still yammering.
All right? Yeah, I'm great. Why? You keep touching your face in that weird way.
You keep touching your face in that weird way.
Maybe you should let me handle
This is already a visual novel.
Relax.
Why are you playing the story out to me while I'm doing the gameplay bit? There's whole levels where you don't get the gameplay bit. You get to sit down and watch a movie for a while.
I want to feel your face.
Why couldn't this have happened in between the gaming bit? Please explain this to me. And the fact that there is a button to select for disable story replay during the play of the level, they know that this is not good game design, so why the fuck is it here? If I want to engage in a visual novel, I will want to engage in a visual novel. If I want to listen about you eating a trank tomato, I will listen to you talking about eating a trank tomato.
I gave my word.
I don't want this to be happening while I'm trying to focus on what I'm serving. And to be fair, this behavior has started in Cook Serve Delicious 3.
I won't eat anything. Yet.
You will get a bit of story sometimes at the start of the level. Like Cleaver and Whisk will be having a conversation at the start of the level. They shut up for the rest of the level. Because you know what the player is gonna be doing while playing the level? They're gonna be focusing. Amazing! I know! Who would have thunk? I don't know, game devs? This is their fourth rodeo. How could have they rodeoed so badly? And what is this even meant to be? Who is this game for? Like, this level requires you to get 3 perfect orders, which is to do all of these button presses before this tiny little sunshine in the middle of your screen ticks down. Ticks down to like the next bit. It is so punishing and pressing. I have never been so stressed in a cook serve delicious game in my life. But this is a visual novel. It doesn't have the customization options of your restaurant. It doesn't have the customization options of your food truck. You can't customize your own recipes. You can't control your own game difficulty. You can't change up how you're playing the level. There's not even different ways of preparing different food items. This is literally all that there is. This isn't a rhythm game because you're not pressing these keys to a rhythm. You're trying to do 2 different things with your 2 hands at the same time while 2 stupid bitches are blabbing about tranked tomatoes into your eardrums. I am so sorry for being so rude because I know that probably the game's story does not deserve it, but this is how much rage and anger I feel when something like this is happening. Just because, do you know how stressful this is? This isn't like bad story design, guys. The story is probably perfectly fine. Like, those 2 girls are probably perfectly nice individuals. This is bad gameplay design. The gameplay on this one is disastrous. If you just released a visual novel with no gameplay about reading about these 2 chicks traveling to compete for like the title of Grand Chef, it would probably be better than this game. This game that has also received quite a lot of development time. So, Cook Serve Delicious 3 released into early access 3 years after the second one. That is impressively fast. It was done with the early access in less than a year. Cook Serve Delicious Forever released into early access also 3 years since the previous game. It has been in early access for 2 years so far. What you made is a visual novel. What are you even developing? Are you drawing more pictures? Are you writing more story? What is there to add to this? This is like the most simplistic shit that they have made so far. And apparently, before January 2025, it was a rhythm game. Instead of having this isometric press of buttons, you had to press these buttons to some sort of a rhythm. At the very least, it would have made sense as a rhythm game. Probably. I did not get to experience that version of this game. And now that version of this game is gone in favor of this asymmetric playstyle, which makes absolutely no sense, adds absolutely nothing to the game, and is just completely frayed Mirta's nerves in the 1.5 hours that I played it. Do I recommend this as an installment of the Cook Serve Delicious series? No. Do I recommend this as a standalone cooking game? Also, no. There are so many better, cheaper cooking games that are standalone than this one. This is a new low, both for the franchise and for cooking games in general. That's how I will describe this. And this might not be very fair for the game. But I don't care. You have set me up for excellence with Cook Serve Delicious 3. I saw your climb up. Now you fell to the deepest depths possible. How did that happen?
Much appreciated. Hi there.
This is the only Cook Serve Delicious title on Steam that has mixed reviews as well. What kind of frustrates me is that the developer, instead of going, "We fucked up," they're writing updates about how much positive feedback and support they have received. And I'm just wondering who? Who from? Where? I don't see it. I don't see it. And I would worry for where this franchise is heading if I didn't know that the next game is a remake of the first one. So we're just gonna get the first one again, which means that its previous mechanics, which were so much better, will be coming back. So this is just a temporary what the fuck. Hence why I can stand it. I can stand it existing because it's not gonna kill my beloved franchise. And hopefully, Mirta from the future is not there to refute this statement. Like, hopefully, fingers crossed, what I'm saying is true. This was just a little experimentation that did not work out. Because let's face it, guys, it did not work out. If your thing for cooking games is very stressful visual novels, then go get this one. But if your thing is visual novels, there are cheaper ones than £25 ones. And if your thing are cooking games, there are better cooking games for cheaper than this visual novel once again. So unfortunately for this video, we're gonna end on a sad note. However, that was Mirta covering all of the Cook Serve Delicious franchise. And once again, don't get me wrong, this isn't like a 0 out of 10. I want to go back to this game at some point, and I want to just play through its story. I will just switch disabled controls so that I don't need to stress, because there's no point. I just want to read my visual novel at the moment, because that's what they made. I want to see the quality of the story, as the gameplay's shit. So at the very least I could, look into something. The visuals are pretty. The music is pretty. I may as well just throw the gameplay out of the window and enjoy the pretty things. But it's not very high on my priority list, because there are so many games out there. There's only so much time in your day. And games, unfortunately, it's a very, very competitive market. If a game does not impress you fully, your time can be better spent elsewhere. And honestly, even if I'm taking just the cooking games, and I'm taking just Cook Serve Delicious series, I want to spend more time in 2, because I haven't gone very far in that. And I feel kind of bad. I want to get better at it. I want to get better at it, to spend more time with it. And if I want to play through a true masterpiece, I will go to 3. Because 3 is worth it. 3 has a lot of gameplay. I can do all of the levels all over again, and I can sit there being a happy little cookie. Before I go, though, I am going to mention one thing that kind of made me laugh out of the first 3 games. The games aren't very consistent, but I left them for it. It's fine. You don't need to be consistent. It's vaguely okay. In the first game, you don't get an avatar at all, so it is unclear who the chef is, and that's perfectly fine. In the second game, I don't know if you can change your avatar, but mine is set to a black woman. I just imagined always that that's what the chef was. I don't know if there was like any sort of selection that I missed or something, but I just assumed that, okay, that's what the chef looks like. In the third game, you're like a old white man, like even past middle age. You are gray in a lot of like pictures, so you're maybe like 60, but then in some promo materials you have like actual colored hair, which would put you at maybe like 40 or 30. It's so inconsistent who you are in this universe, and honestly I don't care that it isn't consistent. It's not like you play Cook Serve Delicious for the consistencies in the story. It's just pretty interesting. I also like how wacky the overworld, the whole story presentation became in Cook Serve Delicious 3, of it being like post-apocalypse, like some places being toxic, chefs like fighting it out in highways. it went really crazy. And I also like how there's hints of crazy in Cook Serve Delicious too, setting that premise up. I thought that that was great joy to experience. So I suppose I'm talking about the highs of the franchise and how it climbed that mountain while sitting over the shittiest part of what came out of the franchise, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure that this is somebody's job. I'm pretty sure that somebody's happy about this, but it's not like it's only me that's not super cool with this. I mean, this is the only Cook Serve Delicious game with mixed reviews on Steam. That tells you all you need to know. I was happy to be able to talk to you about this whole series. Mirta has played a lot of games in her life. It is something that I'm passionate about. And as I said, there's that playthrough, like the full playthrough of Cook Serve Delicious 3 on my channel that I started really like. I started in like 2020, I finished it in like 2022. Those videos have like no views whatsoever. And I know it's not very exciting to watch other people cook, but I needed to share my love for this game series somehow. Unless it's not very exciting to see people cook, I thought I'm gonna make one big video talking about the full series with you guys. I hope you don't mind. I find that doing these kind of videos, it's a lot harder because I get all of my own footage. I don't just like go scouring. A lot of people that talk about video games, they go and scour footage from other channels. I tend to actually like go and get my own footage, even if it's games that I have already played a while ago. I will just revisit them, which means that making these sort of videos is a much larger time investment than just sitting down to talk about something. And obviously it's a long video, and because it's a long video, it probably won't have a lot of re remaining viewers still at this point. But let me tell you what, it feels good. It feels good to pay homage to a franchise that I really enjoyed and still do. It feels good to bring awareness of franchises like these existing to other people. It feels good to investigate a niche genre that not a lot of people will probably care about. And even if there isn't a lot of views on these videos, I could say that, you know, I did it. I paid homage to the things that I like. I didn't just sat there bitching all the time about all the things going wrong outside of my really long tirade about this game. Sorry. I was very passionate. And this also kind of saves on your time, I say, as I'm making like an hour and a half video. Because you won't need to listen to me rant about Cook Serve Delicious for like 3, 5, 10 videos. It's all here. It's like, it's all or nothing. You
Thank you
get to
so
listen to
much for
my
coming
full
today. I could tell your
opinion in
listeners
one go,
appreciated it.
or
Of
not at
course,
all
it
if
was
you
my
don't want to
pleasure.
listen to it at
I
all.
get it
So, as
now.
I said previously, at some point I
You
will
know
want to
what? If he's
investigate
falling asleep
other
while
cooking games
standing,
just because
I'm
there's a lot
so
of
sorry
them
she ate one of your
inside
tomatoes.
my
Is she going to be okay?
Steam library. So
she'll be
investigating
fine.
for
A
me
good
is more
night's
like
sleep should set her
revisiting.
straight.
And because
But
these are indie
unfortunately,
titles, I'm
there's
pretty
no
sure that
cure for
you
refusing to
haven't
follow
heard of them. So
instructions.
what Murta's gonna do is I'm gonna be
I better hold.
collecting the games
Tranquilitas?
that I have already
Yes,
have in my library that I have already
tranquilitas.
played before that don't really have franchises to speak of. They are just loose indie cooking games, and I am gonna be making a video on those later. I know that cooking games are like not super popular. Let's sit on something that looks better. Why not this? Because that's where the video ended. I know that they're not very like popular, but this will be my ability to get talking about cooking games out of my system, I guess. There are other projects that are similar to this one. They're similar to the talking about dress up games that I want to undertake in similar formats. I hope you don't mind. And if you do, unfortunately, this is my channel and it has always been all over the place. Like, I like dark stuff, I like occult, I like spirituality, I like vampires, I like Vampire the Masquerade. And then there's this other side of me that's likes cooking games and dress up games. And trying to figure out what would it feel like to play Barbie as a grown ass woman. And because this is like my outlet and my channel, it just gets all of that. So I don't know who this appeals to. I'm probably just as confusing of as a person as this game is as a game. If you're still here, though, thank you for watching. If you like everything that I have already listed, then please do subscribe. If you find this video worthy, like, share it around because I guarantee you nobody's gonna like super hear about it. And also, really thank you for my Patreon supporters as I completed my Cook Serve Delicious collection in order to make this video. But thankfully, the last game in the series, it cost me like £4. It didn't cost me like 25. Thank you, other places rather than Steam, for allowing me to buy legitimate games. I wouldn't have paid £25 for it. If I did, I would have refunded it. It's just a very honest opinion. Excuse my ending rant. That was a very long one and in-depth one, and I hope that I'm gonna see you on my other videos. Toodaloo.